Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And welcome back again to the Break-Thru Active podcast. My name is Mitch. I am your host again, flying solo today, and I am going to be discussing a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. Not really, but as a trainer and having done it for as long as I have, it's going to be discussing a question that I receive a lot, especially when I'm in talks with people about their nutrition and how they're looking to make some improvements to their nutrition. And it's something that I hear time and time again, so I wanted to do a quick talk about it and discuss some of the reasons around why it may not be as important as you may think. So, as the topic of this video suggests, it's about my thoughts around having sugar and milk within your morning cup of coffee. And sometimes when I am discussing this with people, it comes as a bit of a surprise. But the question that I will normally get when people are, asking me for advice, or they're doing a challenge or some nutrition coaching, they start discussing with me what their morning cup of coffee has. So they'll say something to the effect of, I have an instant coffee each morning, I add some sugar, I add a dash of milk. Do I need to eliminate that now that I am wanting to go on this journey of trying to lose some weight, trying to be a bit healthier, trying to improve some of my nutrition habits? And I just wanted to break that down and discuss why the sugar and the milk that you have in your instant coffee every morning is really not that important at all, and it is definitely not the reason why you may not be achieving some of the progress that you want, and certainly isn't something that you need to cut out if you are wanting to make some changes. So how it looks for people that have, let's say it's 1 cup of coffee each morning, they add a teaspoon of sugar, they add a dash of milk, they feel like that this may be something that's unhealthy and they need to change. Each teaspoon of sugar has around about 5 calories, and a dash of milk, obviously it depends on how much milk you have, but if it is just a little dash, dash of skim milk is going to be about 10 calories. A dash of full cream milk is going to be around 20 calories. So at most, you are adding about 25 calories to your cup of coffee. So for most people, 25 calories, give or take, is not going to make really any difference at all in your overall, in your overall figure, in your overall weight, in your overall health. Especially if it is something that is independent, you're not having anything with that, it is purely just the cup of coffee, and that's the one thing that we're trying to isolate to improve. So cutting out that cup of coffee, not having sugar or not having milk, is going to make 25 calories difference for your whole day. So for most people, whether you're sort of looking to eat 1,500, 1,700, 1,900, 2,200 calories in a day, I'm not going to be talking too much about what your daily target should be because I don't know, because everyone's different. But for people, that 25 calories isn't going to make or break anything. So when it comes to nutrition, we need to look to make changes that are going to move the needle. So what I mean by move the needle is if we are making some changes, it is going to be something that is substantial enough that it is going to make some positive change, or in the contrary, some negative change, depending if we are doing it or if we're not doing it. But something that is going to move the needle and actually have you be able to see results and see progress from making that change. So wanted to make some comparisons. So if we compare, I said, your morning cup of instant coffee, and if you have sugar and some full cream milk, it might be around 25 calories because the coffee itself is next to nothing. If you go and have a latte from your local cafe, depending on what you have and how big it is and everything, it is going to be around 200 to 300 calories. The muffin that you have with your morning tea and your morning coffee at work is about 400 calories. The spray that you use to cook in is going to be next to nothing, 20 to 30 calories. But if you're using oil and a lot of it, that can be 200 to 300 calories in total. If you have a can of Coke every day, that's going to be around 200 calories. If you have Coke Zero, it's going to be 0. If you have chips with your snitty at the pub instead of veggies, there's going to be about 300 or 400 calories difference. You get my point. And I'm not one who likes to talk too much about calories, because I don't really believe that for most people they should be counting them, because I feel like it is a bit of a mental battle when you are counting everything and you start viewing food as numbers instead of what it is. But that's a discussion for another day. But I felt like I needed to discuss it in this point, because when you look at adding a little bit of sugar and a little bit of milk to your cuppa once a day compared to all those other things that I just mentioned, it really doesn't make any difference. So that's a big part of my belief with nutrition, especially if your morning coffee is something that you really enjoy. You shouldn't make any changes to that. And especially as well, if it is only going to be 25 calories, then it certainly isn't something you need to tinker with. But looking later in the day, looking at that muffin that you have every morning tea or a few times a week, and that is 400 calories, maybe more. You can easily cut that, and then all of a sudden you might be cutting 1,200 calories from your week if you have that 3 times, as opposed to the 175 calories in the week that you have from your 7 morning coffees. So you see the difference there. Some things are going to move the needle more, some things are going to move the needle less. And my belief when we're making changes is we're needing to look at the lowest hanging fruit, the ones that we are going to be able to change, and that is going to be able to move the needle. Now, over time, when we start to eliminate some of this low hanging fruit, it will come down to some of the smaller things that we can begin to change. But I truly believe for 99.999% of people that morning coffee that has 25 calories of sugar and milk in it isn't going to make any sort of difference at all. The last few months I've started drinking more tea. I always tend to in the winter time when it's colder. I add a teaspoon of honey and a dash of milk in every single mug. And again, that's probably going to be more like 30 or 40 calories in my cup of tea. And that's not something I feel like is making any difference in my appearance or my body shape or my health or anything like that. And it's something that I enjoy, so I'm not about to stop it. But if I was having that with 3 Tim Tams every time I sat down to a mug each night, that would be something that I can look at and something that I could isolate to see that I could potentially change if I am wanting to make some improvements. So wanted to keep it short today, and I know it's a lot of numbers, a lot of calorie talk, but just wanted to try to get my point across that sugar and that little dash of milk isn't going to change much. Those bigger things that come later in the day, probably the ones that are holding you back if you are looking to make some improvements and to be able to make some changes within your nutrition. So as always, if you've got any more questions, please reach out, but I want to leave it there for today. Thanks for listening, and talk to you on the next one. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.